Your brain can fake a fall so convincingly that it scares itself awake. That's the weird part. You're not falling. Your bed isn't moving. Gravity hasn't changed its mind. But for a split second, your sleeping brain can build a whole emergency. The drop, the panic, the ground rushing up, and then, boom, you're awake before impact. And if you've ever wondered why it always seems to stop right before you hit, that's a completely reasonable question. It feels too perfectly timed to be random, like your brain has some secret safety switch that refuses to let the dream finish. But the real answer is stranger than that, because the fall might not be the dream's cause. Sometimes the dream is your brain's explanation for something your body just did. And once you see how sleep, muscles, balance, fear, and storytelling collide, falling dreams start to look less like a mystery and more like a tiny nighttime glitch in the operating system. So let's start with the first twist. A lot of falling dreams happen right at the edge of sleep, not deep inside it. You know that strange zone where you're not fully awake, but you're not totally asleep either? Your thoughts get slippery. A random image appears. A sentence in your head makes no sense, but for 1 second, it feels profound. That's the doorway into sleep. In that doorway, your body begins powering down. Your breathing slows, your heart rate settles, your muscles relax. Your brain is trying to shift from daytime control mode into nighttime maintenance mode. But that handoff isn't always smooth. Sometimes, as your muscles relax, your brain misreads the signal. Instead of understanding, okay, the body is chilling out, it reacts like, wait, why did the body just drop? And then your leg kicks. Your arm jerks. Your whole body jolts like you missed a stair that wasn't there. That's called a hypnic jerk. Fancy name, simple idea. It's a sudden muscle twitch that happens as you're falling asleep. Most people get them sometimes. They're more likely when you're exhausted, stressed, wired on caffeine, or sleeping at weird hours. Here's where it gets sneaky. The jerk can come first. Then your brain builds the falling story around it. Think about that. You don't necessarily dream you're falling and then twitch. Sometimes your body twitches, and your brain instantly creates a dream that explains the twitch, like a movie editor cutting in a cliff, a rooftop, or an endless elevator shaft after the jump scare already happened. Your brain hates random sensations. It wants causes. If your body suddenly jolts while your mind is half dreaming, your brain may grab the nearest explanation, falling. And honestly, that's a pretty good guess. In real life, sudden downward motion and muscle panic go together. Miss a step in the dark, and your body fires before you can think. Your arms fling out. Your stomach drops. Your heart punches the gas. Sleep borrows that same emergency system. But what about falling dreams that happen later in the night, when you're deep in a full dream? That's where the next layer comes in. Dreams are not just little movies, they're full-body simulations. Even when you're lying still, your brain is constantly building a sense of where you are. Standing, floating, running, turning, falling. It uses memories, emotions, body signals, and the balance system in your inner ear. Your inner ear has tiny fluid-filled structures that help your brain understand motion and gravity. During waking life, they tell you when your head tilts, spins, or accelerates. They're part of why you can close your eyes and still know whether you're upright. During sleep, though, your brain isn't getting normal movement data. You're not actually running through a city or dropping from the sky. But the dream still needs a body. So the brain invents one. Most of the time, that works amazingly well. You can dream of sprinting without your legs moving. You can dream of flying without wings. You can dream of falling without leaving your mattress. But if the brain's dream body and the real body's signals don't match, the illusion can wobble. Your dream says, I'm falling. Your actual body says, I'm lying flat. Your balance system isn't giving the usual real-world confirmation. The brain tries to stitch it together anyway. And falling is one of the easiest motion stories to create because it doesn't require much detail. You don't need a realistic landscape, you just need loss of control. That's why falling dreams often feel less like a scene and more like a sensation. The stomach drop, the rushing fear, the awful certainty that something is about to happen. Now here's the question everyone really cares about. Why wake up before impact? The simple answer is that waking up is the impact. Not literally, of course, you're not hitting the floor. But inside the dream, the moment of maximum danger triggers an alarm response. Your brain says, threat detected, wake the system. Dreams are fragile. They depend on your brain staying in sleep mode. When fear spikes hard enough, your heart rate can jump, your breathing can change, and your attention snaps back toward the real world. Once that happens, the dream doesn't get to keep playing like a paused video. It collapses. So you don't wake up because your brain refuses to show you the landing. You wake up because the fear and body reaction interrupt the dream right before the dream can invent one. It's like watching a horror movie on a laptop, and right as the monster lunges, someone slams the lid shut. You don't know what happened next because the system stops showing the movie. There's another reason the ground almost never gets a satisfying ending. Dreams are built for emotion first, physics second. In real life, falling has rules: height, speed, impact, injury. In dreams, the brain doesn't need to calculate all that. It just needs the feeling. Danger, helplessness, oh no. The closer the ground gets, the more intense the feeling becomes. But to dream the actual impact, your brain would need to continue the story past the emotional peak. Often it doesn't. The alarm wins first. And if you have hit the ground in a dream, you're not broken. It happens. Some people dream an impact and then bounce, sink through the floor, switch scenes, or just keep dreaming like nothing happened. That proves there isn't a universal rule that the brain can't imagine impact. The reason it feels like we usually wake before hitting is because those are the moments we remember. A sudden wake-up is memorable. A weird dream landing that turns into a hallway made of spaghetti is much easier to forget by breakfast. Memory is part of the trick. You dream many times a night, mostly during REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement because your eyes flick around under your eyelids. During REM, your brain is active, your dreams can be vivid, and most of your voluntary muscles are temporarily quieted. That's called muscle atonia. It means your brain keeps your body from acting out dreams. It's a good feature. If you dream you're leaping over a fence, your real legs shouldn't launch you out of bed. But REM isn't the only place dreams happen, and falling sensations can show up in that lighter sleep transition too. Either way, the dream you remember is usually the one closest to waking. So, when a falling dream scares you awake, it gets stamped into memory. It feels important because waking made it important. Now, why falling specifically? Why not dreaming that you're turning into soup every time your body relaxes? Because falling is one of the brain's oldest, loudest danger patterns. Long before you learned algebra, passwords, or how to pretend you've read an email, your nervous system learned this. Losing support is bad. Babies startle when they feel like they're dropping. Your body reacts fast when a chair tips back. You don't calmly debate gravity, you flinch. That flinch is ancient and useful. It buys time. So when your sleeping brain gets confusing body signals, falling is an easy emergency label to slap on them. Muscle relaxation? Maybe falling. Sudden twitch? Maybe falling. Floating sensation? Could become falling. Stress? Great. Now the dream has emotional fuel. Stress matters more than people think. When you're anxious or overtired, your brain doesn't enter sleep like a peaceful elevator. It's more like trying to park a car while the alarm is still blinking. Your body is exhausted, but your threat system is still scanning. That can make sleep lighter and more jumpy. More little awakenings. More muscle jolts. More intense dream emotions. And if your brain is already primed for danger, a falling story is ready to go. Caffeine can do something similar. So can irregular sleep, late-night screens, heavy workouts close to bedtime, or simply being so tired that your body drops into sleep quickly while your brain is still trying to supervise the landing. That doesn't mean falling dreams are a medical warning by themselves. Usually they're normal. Annoying, dramatic, but normal. But wait, there's one more piece that makes the timing feel so eerie. Your dream may be edited after the fact. Dream time is slippery. A dream that feels like it lasted minutes might be built around a real-world sound that happened seconds before waking. An alarm clock can become a school bell inside a dream. A blanket slipping can become a hand grabbing your ankle. A body jerk can become a fall from a skyscraper. The brain is a brilliant improviser. It can take one sudden sensation and retroactively create a mini-story that seems to lead up to it. So when you wake before hitting the ground, it may feel like the dream had a long countdown, but the whole thing might have been assembled very quickly around the waking moment. The ground didn't cause the wake-up. The wake-up helped create the ground. That's the reversal. You think the dream is a falling event that gets interrupted. Sometimes it's actually an interruption that gets explained as a falling dream. This is also why the moment feels so real. The dream isn't just visual, it's plugged into your fear system, your balance system, your muscle system, and your memory system. 4 departments all send urgent messages at once, and your half-asleep brain turns them into a single story. You're falling. Then consciousness comes back online, and you're in bed, heart racing, maybe with one leg kicked out like you were trying to save yourself from the mattress. So what can you do if it keeps happening? The boring answer is also the most useful. Make the doorway into sleep less chaotic. Keep sleep timing more consistent. Cut caffeine earlier. Give your brain a quieter runway before bed. If you're running on stress and 5 hours of sleep, your nervous system is much more likely to hit the panic button during the handoff. You don't need a perfect bedtime ritual with moon water and a journal made from ancient trees. Just reduce the stuff that keeps your body tired and your brain wired at the same time. And if the episodes are constant, violent, causing injuries, or mixed with other sleep problems, that's when it's worth asking a doctor or sleep specialist. Not because one falling dream is scary, but because repeated disrupted sleep deserves attention. But for most people, the answer is surprisingly comforting. You wake before you hit the ground because there isn't really a ground. There's a brain trying to make sense of a body going offline, a balance system with incomplete data, a fear circuit that overreacts, and a dream engine that can turn one twitch into an entire cliffhanger. The fall feels like the event. But the wake-up is the real event. Your brain isn't protecting you from dream impact. It's doing something messier and more human, guessing, reacting, storytelling, and occasionally scaring itself with its own special effects. So the next time you jolt awake from a dream fall, you can think, okay, weird little sleep system, I see what happened. You didn't fall out of the sky. Your brain just tripped on the way to sleep. And if this answered a question you've had since childhood, stick around, because the sleeping brain has a lot more strange habits that feel supernatural until you see the machinery underneath.